snow in the forecast.
That's good. How much more ice do you need to put the shed? Okay.
You got him lined up in the driveway?
No, I got this, Scott wants, and then his son lined up, and he helps out when he's around. He doesn't want to do all the work.
Oh, I remember that.
No,
He doesn't want to get out of the can.
no. The new sidewalks are plenty wide, but not wide enough.
The car's out in Nebraska.
Oh, my God.
Regular meeting of the Clear Lake City Council of Monday, January 3rd, 2022. Happy New Year shall come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Mike, that we approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. To the consent agenda, you have a copy of the minutes of December 20th and 23rd, which was a workshop, and that was in the year 2021. We need reappointment of Mike Callanan as the Mayor Pro Tem. We need approval of the bills and claims, of which you also have a copy. Following licenses and permits: liquor license, Class C liquor license with outdoor service and Sunday sales. That's the Surfside, and that's new. Class E liquor license, Casey's 1896 and 1497. Class E liquor license, Fairway, those are renewals. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Gary, that we approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Now it's time and place for anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on any items that are not on the agenda. Please approach the podium, state your name first and last, and give your address so the clerk can properly enter into the minutes. This is not a discussion time nor a question and answer time, and you have 3 to 5 minutes. None appearing, we'll move on to unfinished business, of which we have none. We'll move directly to 6 new business. 6A, Consolidated Urban Renewal Area Expansion and Plan Amendment 2022 and 2001. Review recommendation from P&Z Commission. Scott Flory, City Administrator. Welcome, Scott.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. I'll start with the items in your packet. First green sheet in your packet is a resolution to declare necessity and establish an urban renewal area pursuant to Section 403.4 of the Code of Iowa and approve an urban renewal plan amendment for the Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal Plan. And then the next sheet, the 11 by 17 sheet you saw at the previous meeting, depicting the city's tax increment financing district and urban renewal areas, and shows the 2 expanded areas that we're proposing to add for 2022, the yellow area there in the downtown consolidated urban renewal area, and then in the orange area, that expanded 2022 block there. Again, in the orange area, the Clear Lake Consolidated Expansion area. Just in the way of some background on this one, at your last meeting on December 20th, the council had initiated the process to amend the urban renewal plan. The purpose of the amendment is to add the additional property that I just mentioned into the urban renewal areas and to amend the urban renewal plan to identify 2 new projects, the one project being the South 15th Street Park Development Project and the other project being the future redevelopment over at the Woodford Wheeler site that the city acquired. At that same meeting, then, the council did set the date for the public hearing on the proposal to amend the Consolidated Urban Renewal Plan and add the additional area, and that was set for this evening, January 3rd, 6 o'clock. Notice of the hearing was published in the newspaper. That was done on December 22nd, and additionally, the item was referred as required by Iowa Code to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So the Planning and Zoning Commission took that up at their regular meeting on December 28th and has forwarded on their recommendation that the proposal be approved and adopted by the City Council. So I don't have anything further on that. We do also have the orange sheet in your packet. As we discussed at the last meeting, the proposal, we had, actually I think it was at the workshop meeting, reviewed the presentation on the South 15th Street Park project. So this resolution would be in furtherance of that redevelopment project on South 15th Street, and that would be to set the matter for a public hearing on a proposal to borrow a not-to-exceed amount of $1.3 million for purposes of the redevelopment project on South 15th Street, the park project. And notice of that will appear in the newspaper this Wednesday. Hearing will be at the meeting on January 17th.
Council, any questions for Scott? Thank you, Scott. Now is the time and place for the public hearing with regard to the Consolidated Urban Renewal Area Expansion and Plan Amendment of 2022 and 2001. If there's anyone in the audience that wishes to address the council on that issue, please approach the podium, state your name first and last, and give your address. Clerk can properly enter it in the minutes. Not appearing, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Dana, seconded by Mark, that we close the public hearing with regard to the Consolidated Urban Renewal and Expansion and Plan Amendment. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. And now we'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2201, a resolution to declare necessity and establish an urban renewal area pursuant to Section 403.4 of the Code of Iowa and approve urban renewal plan amendment for the Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal Area. Motion, please.
So offered.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Gary, that we approve Resolution 2201. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Mark?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
And Dana?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. And now I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2202. This is a resolution setting the date for a public hearing on January 17th of 2022 on a proposal to enter in a general obligation urban renewal loan agreement and to borrow money thereunder in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $1.3 million by the City Council. Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Gary, seconded by Bennett, that we approve Resolution 2202. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Mike?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
And Mark?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2202 is duly adopted. 6B, Emerald Edge Subdivision, disposal of city's interest in certain real estate property. Review, Mr. Flory.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The yellow sheet's in your packet. We'll start there with this one. A letter from Suka Manufacturing expressing its interest in acquiring that 18-foot wide parcel from the city that is located kind of right in the middle of the Emerald Edge subdivision. The next pages are a resolution to dispose of the city's interest in that real property. And then lastly is a copy of an exhibit that depicts the property that's proposed to be sold by the city to Sukup Ag LLC for this purpose. So just in the way of some background again on this one, the December 6th council meeting, the council had approved a development agreement with Sukup Ag LLC, indicating our willingness to provide certain incentives for that particular Emerald Edge subdivision development. In addition to that, we also had agreed pursuant to their request to dispose of our interest in that 18-foot wide parcel for a nominal amount, and the amount we negotiated there is $5,000. So again, at that meeting on December 6th, we approved that development agreement. Then on December 20th, the council had set the date for the public hearing. That is for this evening, January 3rd. Notice of the public hearing was published in the newspaper on December 22nd, indicating that tonight we'd have the public hearing on the proposal to dispose of our interest in that real property for the Emerald Edge subdivision project. Again, in the way of the background on Emerald Edge, I know we've talked about this numerous times. Of course, that's the subdivision that's being built there on US Highway 18. That was approved back by the Planning Commission back on October 26th. And again, that's a 7-lot subdivision. There's one buildable outlot that we expectedly subdivided at a later point in time. Property includes land, again, that's owned by Sukup Ag, as well as this 18-foot wide parcel is owned by the city. So once we hold the public hearing and dispose of our interest in that, we'll no longer have land within that subdivision. Again, subdivision, of course, located between North 14th Street, North 20th Street there on US Highway 18. Development of Lot 1, which is where the Hy-Vee store is being developed, is currently underway. Property zone CI1, intensive commercial. And again, the subdivision includes all new street paving and underground utilities, stormwater detention, and so on. So I did not receive any written communication prior to the hearing regarding the proposal to dispose of the city's interest in that real estate.
Council, any questions for Scott? Thank you, Scott. Therefore, now is the time and place for the public hearing with regard to the Emerald Edge subdivision and the disposal of the city's interest in certain real property there. If there's anyone in the audience that wishes to address the council on that particular issue, please approach the podium, state your name first and last, and give your address so the clerk can properly enter it in the minutes. None appearing, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the Emerald Edge subdivision.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Mike, that we close the public hearing with regard to the disposal of the city's interest in certain real property in the Emerald Edge subdivision. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. So now I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2203, a resolution to dispose of that real property in the amount of $5,000.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Mark, that we approve Resolution 2203. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Gary?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And Mike?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2203 is duly adopted. 6C, Whitaker's Court Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project update, review of pay estimate number 2, which is the final payment by Jason Petersburg, V&K Engineering. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. There are several items in your packet for this project. First being the resolution accepting work, followed by a resolution authorizing the levy of special assessment against the benefited properties. The assessment schedule there is on the white pages, 3 white sheets, and then the certificate of completion and final pay estimate follow at the end. So as reported back at your meeting in December, work on the Whitaker Court Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project was completed by McInnes Excavating about the end of November. At the last council meeting, the semi-final pay estimate was reviewed and approved, which included final quantities. The pay estimate included here tonight is the pay estimate 2. It's the final pay estimate. It's for the retainage only in the amount of $2,823.56, which can be paid 30 days after final acceptance of the work. So net amount due to McInnes at this time is $0. The final assessment schedule is also included for all 11 properties benefiting from the new sewer main and services that were included on the project. Generally, the assessments went down slightly or were the same as the preliminary assessment, depending on how much sewer service pipe was needed or installed to each individual property. Some properties already did have some PVC sewer service, so they were reconnected as close to the main as possible, and they had the savings there on the sewer footage and final assessment. V&K recommends approval of pay estimate number 2, the final pay estimate, the resolution accepting work, as well as the resolution authorizing the levy of special assessments. I know this is a relatively small project, however, I've been in conversations with property owners for over 2 years on it now, so it is a good project to have done.
I was just going to add a couple of things, Mayor, if I could. So in terms of the final value of work completed by the contractor, that is $56,471.20. However, there was, this is one where the city participated to the extent of providing the engineering services as well as material cost, and then we did some manhole improvements and some other things. So the total project cost to the city for this was $75,951. And that breaks down 60% to the property owner, 40% to the city. So the total amount borne by the property owners on this special assessment project is $45,038, and then the city has the $30,913. So again, broke down 60-40. But again, as Jason mentioned, the final value work completed for the project by the contractor was $56,471, but we had these additional items plus the engineering. So in total, it was about a $76,000 improvement. So good project, like Jason mentioned. This is kind of one of those, we've talked about it obviously many, many months by now, but there's a lot of good things about it, but probably one that doesn't get a lot of attention, but one of those projects that's kind of been maybe a little frustrating over the years because it's just been kind of in such bad shape and caused property owners a lot of issues related to sewer backups and things. So it gives us a great opportunity to kind of clean up a problematic issue that's been there for many decades.
Weren't there some pretty significant improvements made on 4th Street?
Yeah,
There's a new manhole put in, replaced an existing city manhole and street patches and sidewalk patches, and that's city cost there. It was an existing brick manhole that Jeremy and I inspected, and Jeremy decided it was the right time to replace it.
So Jason, the pay estimate number 2 you said was, correct me here, $2,823.56. That's the retainage,
That's the
right?
retainage. Net amount due at this time is zero.
53?
$0 at this time.
0, all right, okay. So we don't need to approve the pay estimate then? There's no need to do?
Approve the pay estimate, however, the net amount is 0. 30 days after approval and acceptance, then the retainage can be released to the contractor.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially, it's just authorizing the retainage.
Any other questions for Jason, Council? Okay, thanks, Jason. Therefore, we'll entertain a motion to approve that pay estimate number 2. Motion, please.
So offered.
Second.
Moved by Mike, seconded by Gary, that we approve pay estimate number 2 with regard to the Whitaker Court Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2204, a resolution accepting the work, and the work was done by McKinnis Construction of Mason City, Iowa. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Dana, that we approve Resolution 2204. Is there any discussion? We'll call Bennett,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Mark, Mike,
Yeah.
and Gary.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2204 is duly adopted. And now I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2205, which is a resolution, and I have to turn the page because we put that on the back here, authorizing the levy of special assessments against benefited properties associated with the Whitaker Court Sanitary Sewer Extension Improvement Project. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Mark, that we approve Resolution 2205. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Dana,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
and Bennett.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution 2205 is duly adopted. 6D, lease agreement between the City of Clear Lake and Java 18 LLC. Review Creighton Smith, Director of Finance and Administrative Services. Welcome, Creighton.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The lease we're discussing is in blue in your packets. And in way of some background information on this one, everyone up here has been to the Wellness Center on a tour, so when you first walk in on that first floor, just past that front desk area, there's a cafe that was included in the original plans. So as we thought about what would be the best use for that space, as we open the new Wellness Center, we've been thinking about it for a few months and whether we wanted to operate ourselves something out of there or if we wanted to bring in an outside vendor, and really came to the conclusion that it would be best to bring in an outside vendor who would really be able to offer the full service cafe to the customers that are coming to the Wellness Center. So it was in November and prior to November when Adam actually went to local coffee shops to see if there was interest in leasing this space. It's not a very big space. There's a countertop there, the area behind the countertop, and then there's some seating space out front as well. So we went around to see if there's any interest. Then we ultimately decided to send out a request for a proposal to lease that space. I believe in here it says it's about 200 square feet of space, and really looking for, of course it's only 200 square feet of space, so not necessarily going to get a lot of rental income on there, but more so making sure that we found the right fit. And in doing so, we did only have one proposal, and that was from Laura Schleisner, who runs the Java 18 in Garner. And so she put her proposal in, and then Adam and I met with her afterwards, and we're very impressed with what she wants to do in this space, what she's already doing at Java 18, and she came with a menu and the types of things that she would do a little bit differently in our space, differently from what she has over in Garner. Already had some name ideas. She wants to have it different than Java 18 currently, something that ties into the Wellness Center, which was great to hear that she's already been thinking about that stuff as well. So we think it'll be great for the members at our facility. So this lease is for a period of 2 years, commencing on March 1st, 2022, and the rent amount is for $125 a month. And one of the things she talked about was her hours of operation. So in the beginning, she really wanted to have a very wide span of open. It's going to be open pretty much the same hours as the Wellness Center, just to determine what hours she actually needs to operate, which is a good approach, and we'll see when the demand is, and then she'll change her business up for that. But it seems like it'll be a great partnership.
Any questions for Creighton on this lease agreement? Thank you, Creighton. Therefore, entertain a motion to approve the lease agreement between Java 18 LLC and the City of Clear Lake, with the location being in the new Wellness Center. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Gary, that we approve the lease agreement at the Wellness Center between the City of Clear Lake and Java 18. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. 6E, 2000, NTI 2000 7th Avenue North Distribution Facility Bridge Replacement Project. And Mr. Flory.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, refer to the yellow sheets here in your packet. On this one's a letter proposal agreement for professional engineering services for the NTI Bridge Replacement Project. I had an opportunity to take several of you out there to get a tour of NTI. It's really, I think, a very unheralded business in our community, but the scope of the work that they do is truly amazing. Go all over the country and even across North America. And to have a business here like that is fantastic. They have basically started here and grown here, and so it's fantastic to be able to work with the Niemans, who own business and the buildings on their proposed expansion project here. So again, as the mayor indicated, they're located at 2000 7th Avenue North. They're in the midst right now working with Dale Snyder Construction on a significant expansion project to their facilities here in Clear Lake. For those of you that don't know, they're, as I mentioned, locally owned and operated. They're in the automotive parts business, primarily tires and axles. And as I mentioned, serving not only the Midwest, but across the country and even across North America. They're located again between North 20th Street and I-35, just south of Willow Creek. As I mentioned, several of us have met with them off and on over the course of the past few months while their construction project's first phase is underway. They've got multiple phases that they're planning on making improvements to. Regarding this expansion project, as I mentioned, the contractors, Dean Snyder Construction, on this project. They had the site plan approval and building permits issued earlier this summer and have been working on it ever since that time. Project involves construction of new warehouse buildings and other outbuildings. It's a 3.7 acre parcel, again located on the south side of a private access road that's just behind the Best Western right now. That's kind of serving as the primary ingress egress for the NTI property there. They also have a secondary access that's kind of aligns with what would be North 24th Street that cuts through the Pilot Truck Center. They have an easement for both of those accesses serving their property. Again, so that's just easterly from 7th Avenue, south of Willow Creek, west of I-35, and north of the railroad. They also are going to be making, in addition to the building construction improvements, a number of paving improvements, stormwater improvements, and other utility improvements there. That bridge structure, several of you had the opportunity to go out there with me or Nelson and kind of go over that. It's kind of a very marginal structure. Definitely needs replacement if they're going to be utilizing that more extensively in the scope of their business, which they would like to do. So when we start talking to them about incentives that would be available to them, they were far more interested in partnering with the city on improvements to that bridge structure than property tax rebate incentives. So we had agreed that we would work with them towards that. So to that end, we've negotiated Jason Petersburg of V&K has been involved with the project since the inception with Dale Snyder and the Niemans both presenting the site plan on their behalf to Planning and Zoning Commission. So we negotiated a engineering services agreement with Jason using his background on this particular project as an advantage there. So it's a not to exceed amount of $25,000. The city's contribution would be the engineering services and then the cost associated with replacing the structure that's there with a like size structure. We probably a culvert, but I'll let Jason kind of talk a little bit more about that and the schedule for the project. I do understand that Niemans want to make further improvements to that structure, so the additional costs associated with making additional improvements to that culvert structure would be on their side of the ledger. So again, seemed like a pretty good partnership for us, and I think a great opportunity to work with a local company here on an expansion project. And I don't have anything further in terms of any background unless anyone has any questions before Jason reviews the schedule and the scope there.
It prompted a memory here on a discussion I recently had with a couple of citizens. Fortunately, we're not River City, we're Lake City basically, so we don't have a lot of bridges, but we do have one just off Main on 40th Street that's in pretty rough shape. Have we had discussions about eventually replacing that?
Yep, that's been our budget, and kind of just with other projects, we've kind of pushed it back a little bit further, but it has been an item that we've talked about for a few years. That probably is another one that if we were to replace that, it's not, we do the biennial bridge inspections on that, and it does need some improvements, and we've talked about that for a while, but I think we probably continue to limp along a little bit further for a couple more years on that one, but it's definitely in the works.
Well, and I drove the 40th Street from B whatever it is there, B35 to Main, and there's a lot of tough pavement in that stretch too.
And
so.
I think Jeremy brought that up at our budget meeting.
Yeah.
I think we've got that in for next year to make some, didn't you bring that one up if I remember?
Yeah, from 4th Avenue to the railroad, that just short section, just some resurfacing there. Beyond that, concrete that's in decent shape. Improvements there would probably be a little bit more expensive to go along with the box culvert, but just to get from Ford past the railroad, I got some stuff there this year.
For 22.
Yeah.
Okay, it just prompted that memory, so I thought I'd ask about it.
Question, that bridge is not posted, is it?
That one, or?
The one Mike's talking about, 40th?
I don't think it is
Not posted,
posted.
is
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the bridge out by, not to prolong this, out by Furley's? Is that the one you're?
No,
talking
that's
Ford
56.
Baker's Corner.
Yeah.
about? The other way. All
Other
right,
way.
all right, all right.
40th.
Yeah, okay, I got
I
that.
think that's 40th.
Yep.
isn't it?
Yeah. Baker's Corners, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
North of that.
Any other questions for Scott? Thanks, Scott. Review of professional services agreement. Jason, B&K.
Thanks again, Mayor, Council. As Scott indicated, he discussed this with us a few months ago about what could be done for improving this existing bridge at the NTI property to the north. We did some research on it. We looked at the existing culverts underneath Highway 18. Those are a twin 12-foot by 12-foot box culvert. Likewise, downstream underneath Interstate 35, that's a twin 12-foot by 12-foot box culvert. So we're going into this with the mindset that it's going to be a twin 12-foot by 12-foot box culvert. We do still have to go through the DNR floodplain permitting. And when Scott mentioned schedule, currently right now they're running a 4 to 6 month backlog. So if we get started on this now and they can hit the 4-month timeline, we're looking at, we could begin construction in October of this year at the earliest. And that would be dependent upon material availability as well. But as part of the design services, we have to do hydraulic modeling of the creek itself, survey enough of the creek corridor to be able to input that data into the model, and then we furnish that data to the DNR for their floodplain review on that. So that's part of the preliminary engineering services on this. Rest of the schedule there, if we can get the DNR floodplain permit by the end of June, we're looking at bid opening end of August, and then proceed right there into construction. As Scott indicated, compensation is a not to exceed $25,000 on this one. I know Scott gave a pretty extensive background there. If there's any other questions on this.
Council, any questions for Jason? I just want to say real quick that, you know, this is a family-owned business, family-run business. They are there all the time, and got its start over in Ventura, just north of Ventura. Have been very, very successful over the years. I think what they tell us, they're putting out 8 semis a day, leave there with wheels and axles and all of that. So this expansion is very, very important to them. It's another example of good old private-public working together, and I think it's a great, great project for them and us too. So, thanks, Jason. Therefore, I entertain a motion to approve professional services agreement with Veenstra and Kim, and I believe that's in the amount of $25,000. Is that right? $25,000. Motion, please.
Second.
Moved by Mark, seconded by Dana, that we approve the professional services agreement on the NTI distribution facility bridge replacement project. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Chief, report. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. On behalf of the Police Department, Happy New Year to everybody. I'd like to direct your attention to the blue sheet in the back of your packets. It's our November 2021 numbers are added there. In discussing with this with the mayor today, I do want to point out that there are some, we're dramatic, but there are some increases in a lot of our lines there in 2021. Traffic stops, charges, parking tickets all have increased in 2021. And I'll get you some annual numbers, hopefully at the next council meeting or maybe the one after. But for example, we had 192 traffic stops compared to 76 last November. So just want to let you know the officers are working. I think we had a little bit better weather this November than last November. We have a full crew on evening shift that's kind of doing a lot of the traffic enforcement. And of course, our parking enforcement has increased because of the events came back to Clear Lake this summer. And we've had a lot more parking issues that we've been dealing with this year. So parking tickets, I just will say 875 this year compared to 488 last year at this time. So that's where we're at so far for numbers, which is good. Again, I'll try to get you some comparisons once we get our annual numbers put together here, which we'll work on starting this month. One other thing is our open police officer position closes today. Captain Colby will collect those application packets, and then we'll put together our preliminary physical and written test, which hopefully we'll actually be able to run in the track if it's done for that. So we're excited for that, and that's all I really had, unless there's any questions.
Applicants' numbers, or?
Last I checked, we were down in numbers, but usually for this type of position, we get a couple of surges at the end of the, and we still have to wait for the mail to catch up too for the post date. So,
Council, any questions for Chief? Thanks, Chief. Director of Finance Administrative Services report. Welcome, Creighton, Director of Finance.
We have our valuation report from the county. It's in white towards the end of your packet. Our total valuation went up almost 6%, up to 1.23 billion. That does directly impact our debt capacity limit, and that goes up from 58.2 million up to 61.66 million. And again, of course, we've talked about this a lot, but we have very little debt currently. So we're not, of course, anywhere near those numbers, but just to point out that that number is going up by over $3 million there as far as what our capacity is. So we're sitting around 6% now, and with the 1.3 million that we're looking to take out for the South 15th Street Park, after our June payment, we'd be at about, our June total bond payment, we'd be at about 6.5%. So not a big change there. Part of that is because this number is going up. Right directly behind this is our taxable valuation, and our taxable valuation is going up just over 3%. So this is really the number where we derive our property tax revenues from. So good to see that that number is growing at a healthy rate again. And that's all I have.
Questions for Creighton? Obviously, it's great news.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
I mean, wonderful news. Wonderful. Thank you. Wellness Center Director update. Mr. Long, welcome, Adam.
Council. Very busy week over at the Wellness Center this week. We have all of our equipment being delivered tomorrow through Friday. So our two companies are going to be delivering and installing tomorrow all the way through Friday. And we, myself and our staff, will be putting up some of our free weight equipment that has already been delivered. So we'll be putting together some of that as well. With this busy week, we're going to have a very busy month as well, as we're starting to roll on February 1st. So we're going to get that thing up and operating, and we're very, very excited about it. We launched a promo for the new year for our annual membership. So, you know, one thing I do want to mention, and I talked about it today a little bit at the Wellness Committee Board meeting, was how good of a job Mary Jo's doing with our social media. I mean, I'm not a huge social media guy. I'm smart enough to know that it is how a lot of people communicate. So if you guys aren't on that, or if you are, please share anything that we have. That's the best way to get information out to the public. Our website's going to be launched this week as well, but I mean, social media is kind of where it's at. So if you guys see any of the stuff that we send out, whether it's promos, we're doing a wellness program for all of January, share those, like those. That helps us out tremendously. So I'd appreciate that. But Mary Jo's doing such a great job with that, and I really appreciate her hard work on that. Our front desk staff, I'm going to send out their offer letters this week. We'll get them rolling January 17th for a couple weeks of training before we start. And then other than that, everything with construction-wise is going really well. Flooring's going down. They're very confident that everything's going to be ready to roll by February. You walk over there, I don't know how super confident I am. We'll have at least a wellness center and all of our equipment ready to go for that portion of it. The field house makes me a little nervous, but I'm trying to be an optimist over these last months. So, does anybody have any questions for me?
Is the walking track surface down?
Yep, it's getting done right now. So it'll be done by probably, I would say Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Yeah, they're rolling on that. All the flooring upstairs is done. And like I said, all the equipment will be up there. By the end of this week, we'll have everything in there. Then they'll move down to the multi-purpose rooms, and then all of the wood floor in the field house on the hardwood courts has been laid. They're going to be standing that starting at the end of the week. Any questions?
I must say, watching you folks work going in and out of our office until yours is ready out there, constantly in motion. So lots of work has been done, is to be done, and is being done at
Absolutely.
the same time right now. So it's you're busy people. Looking forward to that February 1st.
Me too as well.
Be huge.
If nobody has any other questions, I would like to bring up McKeon Bang. He's our fitness coordinator. First day today. He started on a very good time because we need some help this week. So I'm going to let him give a little background. You guys can grill him a little bit, okay?
Great.
Thanks.
Great. Thanks. Welcome, McKeon.
Thanks, Mayor, Council. Yeah, like Adam said, first day. My name is McKeon Bang. I grew up in Clear Lake, graduated 2015. So basically, my whole life I've been either a part of Clear Lake, either the rec or being at the lake, kind of being a beach bum. In high school, played football, track. Mr. Callan was actually one of my substitutes, and then also a track coach of mine. So.
Oh, boy, he's already scoring points with this guy. Just look at him. Look, his head's going to be so big we won't get him out of the room.
So brings back a few memories talking to him today.
Another great success out of the Callahan legacy.
The Callahan stable.
Look around the room here.
Everybody's known Mike.
Pete could have brought a few officers along that I helped screw up, and so got a few of them sitting up here, and Jeremy over there. So I mean, they're kind of like Chicken Man. Mike remembers Chicken Man. He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Yeah, but now you're showing your age, Mike.
Well, everything else does. So what the heck?
Yeah, graduated 2015. Went to Iowa State right after that. Got my bachelor's degree in exercise science. My last semester there, I was an intern with their strength and conditioning program, with their football strength and conditioning. So I got to see their kind of their spring season and how they did things there. So that was pretty cool. And then after that, I went to Southern Illinois University. I was a strength graduate assistant there. So I got my master's in exercise physiology, and then I was also a strength coach down there, mainly with men's and women's golf, their track and field, and then I also traveled with football. So then after that, came back to Clear Lake, got married in July, and then after early August, I started working at Larson Plumbing and Heating, basically just to make some money. And then since then, basically every day, except I think one working day, I've been at the Wellness Center, building that basically from the ground up. So now I'm here. Oh, and then I got married in July, so.
Council, got any questions for McKeon? Very happy to have you, McKeon, and you've got two good people that you're working with here, we know, and people like you folks, that will definitely be a success. So thanks.
Yep.
Thanks for being here tonight, too. Appreciate it.
Any questions?
And just congratulations on getting married, and welcome to the team here at Clear Lake with the Wellness Center. So we'll look forward to working with you.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Public Works Director report, Mr. Kornberg. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Just a couple project updates. First, RCP Investments LLC out there, the warehouse storm sewer project. Navratil is about 60% complete. They have the 30-inch storm sewer pipe going along 4th Avenue, starting just east of Ryko, runs along 4th to the interstate, and then north along the warehouse left. They intend to get that done this month, weather permitting, obviously. And then they also have a couple drainage swales that they will need to grade, but they probably won't do that till the spring just because of conditions. Second update would be the 2021 storm sewer water main project. NISS completed Area 1. All the underground work is done, as well as the paving. And then Area 3, which is the North 16th Street, 1st Avenue, they got all the underground work done there. They did not get any of the paving completed because of the cold weather conditions that hit. So they have decided to end work for the winter. They're not going to try and get anything else done this winter, so they're going to pick up work back in the spring. So they'll have areas 2 and 4 to complete. Neither of those areas have water mains, so they should go pretty smoothly. And then they'll pick up the paving in area 3 as well in the spring and get that done. So the only other update I have is that we will be doing our annual Christmas tree pickup, and that starts on Monday morning. So seen a few of those laying out there, but they'll run around and get those on Monday. So, I don't think I have any other updates unless you have any questions.
Questions for Jeremy? Thanks, Jeremy.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it. Under Mayor's report, let's start out with Assistant Chief Keith. Welcome,
Mayor
Mike.
and Council, Happy New Year, and I'm still here, so that's a start. For the month, 150 calls in December. That's up quite a bit. We had 104 last year. Total numbers are up to 1,410 for the year, 1,252 for last year, so we had considerably more calls. Had a couple structure fires in December. We also did an underwater drone assist to the Winnebago County Sheriff in Decorah. They were looking for some evidence under the ice over there in a pond. So we went over there last Thursday and put the underwater drone down there for them. It's a pretty shallow pond. We didn't find exactly what they were looking for, but they got some information out of it, so hopefully that'll help them in their investigation that's going on over there. For 2021, obviously it was a big year for the fire department, 150 years. Mike remembers most of that, but it was a big time for us. And it was exciting. It took us a year to plan for that, and obviously our 9/11 program was the other exciting thing for us. And it turned out both of them were highly successful, and I have to thank the council and everybody here for that, the support you've given us over the years for that, and the 150 years. I can't speak for all the fire departments, but 150 years. I can talk for this one. We appreciate your support. You guys come around, and when we need something, obviously we come and ask, and we've been able to work out pretty well for you. We're continuing our training program. We're going to be looking at some new training for this year. No other major projects going on as far as any events going on, but we are going to do some additional training, trying to make everything a little bit better service-wise. Hopefully improve the guys in their ability to put out what they need to do on a situation. So appreciate that. If you got any questions of us, come on over to the station anytime you want to come over there. A museum. I do have a couple new projects in the museum. I've got a donation from a gentleman on the Burnthville, Minnesota Fire Department. Gave us some stuff that he'd like to just put on display down there. We're working on that. And I got a call from a gentleman in southern Iowa that may have some really unique antique fire equipment stuff that he wants to put out someplace. And I said, you bring it up or we'll get it, we'll add on. If we'll do something, we'll get it in the museum. It's some really unique fire equipment that he has and some education material, but I hope we get that put in there in the spring when he gets that ready for us. So anything else?
Do you still remember the horse names from when you were with the horse-drawn equipment?
Trigger, and I think the other one was Spot, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. All right, Council, we need to have a motion to set dates for council workshops for, really, it's this week, Wednesday, January 5th, and Friday, January 7th. January 5th is a workshop meeting, and January 7th is a budget workshop. So I need a motion to set those two dates, both of which are 8:30 in the morning. Motion, please.
So offered.
Second.
Moved by Mike, seconded by Gary, that we approve January 5th and January 7th as council workshop dates. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. I just want to say that, this being our first meeting of 2022, personally very, very proud of this council. Very, very proud of all of our departments that we have here. I call it our administrative group in the office here is the best beyond. Those folks to put up with Scott and me and now Creighton, give them a lot of credit. But, we just have a great team here. And we've got great things in our history, and we will have more great things this year. So let's keep that positive economic progress moving forward. Underscore positive. We've got a great group here. We have a great community. Let's do our best doing the work, as the Constitution says, of the people. Mr. Flory.
Just a couple things quick, Mayor. The TEEP request to the Iowa DOT for the intersection improvements there at 27th Avenue South and South 8th Street. Several of us met with the consultant on that, as well as county representatives on that. Just wanted to update you that the application letter did go in to the DOT on that, and both the city and the county are applicants on that. So appreciate the good cooperation that we got from Cerro Gordo County, specifically the engineering department, and working towards that project. So hopefully we'll hear something back in a couple of months maybe on that one. Then I just wanted to also mention we do have set for, I believe it's the 13th, Jason, the informational meeting on the East Main, the next leg of the East Main project, which of course runs from 8th to 14th Streets here. So complete reconstruction project, be a mirror image of the earlier phases of that project. But we've had good response publicly from those town hall meetings that we've had here in the City Hall building. So got that set for 5 to 7 on the 13th. So we'll be sending out information to the affected property owners and putting some information in the paper on that. So then on meeting on the 17th, regular council meeting on the 17th, we'll initiate the special assessment process on that. So, and that's all I have.
And we will be missing Mr. Callanan for the next month or so while he goes to warmer climes. So
I don't know how many people are missing him, but
He
he'll be
will be
absent.
with us.
We're going to call him on the phone a time or two.
Any further business, council?